Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for June 8, 2022, the Gupta Brothers arrested edition. We begin with that story from the Wall Street Journal. Other than J-Lo, perhaps the world's most wanted corruption persons are the Gupta Brothers. Well, brothers Atul and Rajesh were arrested in Dubai. The Gupta Brothers are accused of government capture in South Africa, leading to massive corruption by former President Zuma and purloining millions, if not billions, from the South African economy, in addition to destroying one of the world's, South Africa's, or Africa's rather, most robust economies. So it's good to see the Gupta brothers arrested. Whether they get extradited, although there is an extradition treaty between Dubai and South Africa, of course, is a different question, but it's going to be a good start by having the Gupta brothers arrested. Next up from Bloomberg, the Vietnamese Minister of Health and the mayor of Hanoi were fired from the Communist Party for corruption in an investigation into high-level corruption of the Chinese Communist Party. The latest moves come amid investigations of a wide range of illegal activity, from stock manipulation to property fraud. It has embroiled Vietnam. Next up, Wells Fargo. Say those 2 words and you know something special's coming. Well, Wells Fargo announced it is, quote, pausing, end quote, its fake interview policies, which they call their diverse slate requirement, but it led to fake interviews. They were accused of this by a whistleblower, of course denied it, but the policy itself now has been put on pause. The diverse slate policy stipulated that at least half the candidates interviewed for open positions paying $100,000 or more needed to be diverse, a catch-all term for racial minorities, women, and other members of disadvantaged groups. However, as this policy moved forward, turns out that it wasn't followed at all, and people were brought in for fraudulent interviews, or I should say alleged fraudulent interviews, after jobs had been filled. But the policy's now on pause at Wells Fargo. And finally, from Kroll, I believe a first-time contributor to the Daily Compliance News, released a survey regarding anti-corruption compliance programs, crypto, and blockchain, aligning with geographic and sectorial evolutions of the regulatory landscape around these, and points up the need for the vigilance around both of these, as criminals certainly have used them, but also be vigilant on the regulations. So check out the report on Kroll, some good stuff there. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.